Hey everyone, it's Bubbles.
I'm photographer.
And we're back at it. It's been a while since we recorded one of these. It's mid-November right now and the weather just turned colder and first time out with the pups in a while. Nala's here. So is Shelby Joe, if you can see her. So it's about 30 degrees today with like a 22 degree wind chill and
It's a little chilly.
a little cold. We're here again with the dogs. We don't go hiking all too much during the heat of the summer with the dogs. It's too dangerous for them. Nala doesn't like the warm weather. And Shelby Joe gets pretty overheated as well. So we're going to talk about some of the fall hiking with dogs and getting into the cold weather today. What to look out for and things to prepare for.
So today we're doing about a 6-mile hike. It's a little chilly when we get started, but once we get going, we really warm up quickly. We just have our day packs on today, so not our big full packs. There are a few things that we have in the pack in fall and winter that we don't have in the summer. Well, I guess we have them in the summer, but they're just not as prevalent. We want to make sure we're able to find them easily in the cold. Those things are Musher's Secret. It's like a wax that you put on your dog's paws to protect them from the ice and the cold. Another thing that we always have in our packs is Booties, a set of Booties for the dogs. And those are great year-round because if you're out on a backpacking trip and you don't have access to a vet and they hurt themselves, you can put a bootie over their injured paw and that'll help protect it until you're able to get to a vet. In the winter, obviously booties are pretty important when there's a lot of snow. We've been out without them in the past when we didn't think it was that bad, and Nala will start to pick up her paws and not walk because the ice gets trapped in between the pads and it makes it uncomfortable, like walking on pebbles for us. So another thing we always have in their packs is their jackets, just in case if we get trapped out here or we're going to be out longer than we anticipated. It's just always one of those safety precautions that we like to keep in our pack for them. And as usual, we have plenty of water for them and plenty of snacks.
So now let's talk about dressing and precautions for humans in the colder weather. And a large part of what you wear out on the trail is a matter of preference. There's some survival basics to keep in mind, but it's all going to depend on whether or not you get hot when you're hiking, like me. Photographer gets cold, if it's under 65. So, it's always gonna largely depend on you. One thing that you should always keep in mind is use layers, dress in layers. Because then if you get hot, you can take a layer off. If you get cold, you can put a layer back on. Right now I have about 3 layers on. I have an Under Armour cold gear shirt on, which is like skin tight and very warm. Then I have a kind of lighter weight long sleeve. It's this black thing, kind of like a runner's shirt. And then I have a thicker fleece pullover on top of that. And I'm starting to get warm. So again, one layer is probably going to come off. It's important to keep your core warm. My legs, pretty much if I just have pants on, which let's hope I have pants on, I'm good. When it gets really cold out, like I think we did a 13 degree hike last year, I think I had my Under Armour tights on underneath my pants. But you know, one thing to keep in mind, and kind of a rule of thumb that you can use that I've always had good luck with, is dress like you're going out for 20 degrees warmer than it is. Like dress how you want to stay warm, doing nothing if it's 20 degrees warmer. So for instance, today it's 30 degrees. Dress to stay warm at 50 degrees doing nothing. Then, you know, as you warm up, your blood pumping, you know, you warm up and then you're good at that kind of temperature. Other things, when it gets really cold out, we always keep 1 or 2 sets of the hot hands in our packs. So those are the things that just warm up. Once you crack them open, put them in your pockets, put them in your gloves. That's when it gets really cold out. Navigation in fall and winter, and when we get some snow on the ground, we'll kind of demonstrate this too. So if you look around here, you know, obviously, yeah, we can see a trail. We're right on it. But as these leaves and the forest starts shedding all their leaves, you know, some of this stuff can get pretty confusing. You know, there's game trails. There's 2 game trails right behind me, and it can get confusing where you're at. Now we're on a trail that we've hiked probably about 20 or 30 times, so we really know it like the back of our hand, and it's also very well marked. But if you're on a trail that you're unfamiliar with or first time, before you go out, it's probably a good idea to download or get a trail map from, you know, sometimes the trailheads have trail maps, or you can find trail maps for almost any trail online nowadays. And then have a compass and know how to use it. Also, even if you don't have a compass, it's a good idea to get familiar with the position of the sun in your area. So we're in Chicago and we're getting really close to the winter solstice, so that sun is way in the southern sky. So if you look at where shadows are, shadows almost always point northerly, you know, again, depending on the time of day, northwest, east, west, or northwest, northeast. But that sun is always in the southern sky, so, you know, you can orient yourself.
We're at about 1:45 too, so the sun is not right above our heads like you would assume for noon.
Right, yeah. Noon is never, you know, depending, unless you're on the equator, the sun's never directly overhead at noon, because of the, well, we could get in a whole lot of science lesson on the tilt of the earth, but that's for another trip. But, you know, good, just things to think about to stay safe out there on the trails.
One of the things you might be wondering is why we even want to hike throughout the winter in this area where it gets cold, snowy, and icy. That's a very valid question, I think. Neither of us were very fond of winter before we started hiking through it. Now it's awesome. There are so many benefits to hiking through the winter. The first big one for me is it is a huge mood booster. Around here we don't get a lot of sunlight through the winter, and it gets really depressing. So any chance you get to get outside and take in nature just is such a good mood booster. Another benefit, there's not a lot of people that come out through the winter because most people are more sane, and being an introvert, I'm always happy with not running into people. So there's that. You don't have to worry about bugs as much. Everything is dead, and it's pretty quiet, which is, if you're by yourself, can be a little bit creepy, but it's also really cool. It's just an amazing experience when you just hear nothing and except for your own thoughts. It's an amazing experience. So if you get the chance to do it, I highly recommend it.